Okay, so now that you've been told that you can't go anywhere in your city because there's a word you're going to be infectious or something, so you're sitting at home and you're looking for some good things to watch. Okay, so this is my top 10 list of things that you could watch. Number one is The Celestine Prophecy. This is a movie that talks about, um, well, how do I tell you this without giving you a spoiler? The Celestine Prophecy is about the wonderful things that happen to you if you decide to let go of your ego. Doesn't sound interesting enough. Um, well, do you find sometimes life is tough slogging? Um, if you do, then you will find that the Celestine Prophecy will give you great promise that you can make life a lot easier for yourself and others. Um, Still not interesting enough. Um, hmm, like there was that bully who just treated you horribly, maybe at school or maybe yesterday at work. Um, the Celestine Prophecy shows you that bullies finally get their comeuppance, and that you, who are not a bully, um, are in line for something wonderful. Okay, next movie is Wag the Dog, a 1997 movie about what's going on right now on the planet. What? Well, I mean, 1997, that was 23 years ago. Hollywood made this movie, and the great leaders of the world watched this movie, and that's now why we have got everyone on lockdown. Um, Wag the dog. Okay, the next movie is The Matrix, which came out around, I think it was around 2000, the first one. And the reason why you want to watch that is because it is a documentary of the stupid sheeple on planet Earth. And if you're a stupid sheeple person, why would you want to watch The Matrix? Because then you're going to learn what red pilling means. Because there's a lot of people like me who say, "Do you want me to red pill you?" And you get this fluoride stare. What is the fluoride stare? Well, it's basically, a bunch of drunk 23-year-old girls at the bar who, if you ask them anything other than, you know, can I buy you a Singapore sling and take a guess? And then you say, are you at college and or anything? And they go, no. And then you say, well, you quickly come to the conclusion that pretty much these girls are interested in booze and, if you're lucky, getting lucky. But red pilling is, the fluoride stare. Well, fluoride is reputed to calcify your pineal gland, which is your little gland in here, in behind your eyes and amongst your brain, that connects you to um, 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 well, Rene Descartes, the great French philosopher, said the seat of your soul is the pineal gland. So your pineal gland, if you've got a soul, that's where it connects to you. And if you've got a fluoride stare, it means that you're not connected to your soul. You're connected to a bottle of rum. Next movie is The Stand. It is a miniseries because it's such a huge novel by Stephen King. It is basically, I don't want to give you a spoiler too much on this one, But if you're interested in a really good yarn, and I mean, it was good enough for the Hollywood to decide to, rather than making a 2-hour movie, to make a mini series of it. Well, they did, and it exists. And if you've never seen The Stand or what, or anyway, the original movie miniseries starred Rob Lowe, and I think they might have done a redo of it, but I'm not sure. But if you want to see one of the most beautiful creatures on the planet, Rob Lowe, when he was 24, was probably the most spectacularly chiseled man since Kirk Douglas. Okay. Next movie is 1984, which was based upon the novel by George Orwell of the same name. And I know it's long since been 1984, but the book was written, I'm going to guess, around 1954. So it was like, what's going to happen 30 years from 1954. And it's basically the planet as it is today. It was the same in 1984. I mean, I was around in 1984. It was the first year I went to university, 1984. And have things changed since 1984? No. So the movie is perfectly appropriate. The most famous thing about the 1984 is the term Big Brother, and it has really nothing to do with the TV show Big Brother, other than the fact that your TV spies on you, and everyone knows that smart TVs are always watching you, and Alexa always listens to you, and so does Siri. Next movie is Lord of the Flies, about a plane crash of a bunch of tween boys, and they end up on an island by themselves, and the pilot and the stewardess all died. So here you have a bunch of tween boys on an island with no adult supervision, and well, you got to watch the movie so that you can get a good glimpse of what the Lord of the Flies looks like. The next movie is Excalibur, which was a movie about King Arthur and his sword. Now, coming back to Lord of the Flies, there are two movie versions of Lord of the Flies. One was 1963, and the other one, and that was in black and white. And then there was a 1991, which was in color. And I made a mistake, but I didn't tell you. I thought both those movies that I just gave you, Lord of the Flies and Excalibur, were done by British director John Boorman, but only one of them was. But the reason I thought that Boorman did both of those movies was because both of those movies have unbelievable color in them. Really colorful movies. And the 1963 version was black and white, and I watched that in high school because we studied the novel. And I didn't see the 1990 version, only the trailer. So that's where I got the idea that, it was very colorful. Maybe because it was, kind of filmed in kind of a jungly island, and Excalibur was very beautiful cinematography. So if you like those kind of movies, the color versions, and if you like black and white, then the 1963 version of Lord of the Flies. Okay, the next one on my list is Apocalypse Now, which was Francis Ford Coppola's masterpiece. And it is based upon a novel that Joseph Conrad wrote. And this idea of going up a river is what I want to talk about with this movie and another movie I'm going to tell you about in a few minutes. Conrad's book was, oh God, my mind is slipping. Hold on. The Conrad novel is Heart of Darkness, and it's about going up a river in Africa, leaving civilization and going into the primitive world. And Apocalypse Now is, well, I suppose it's kind of the same idea. It's leaving the United States, civilization, going to Vietnam, which is in the middle of the Vietnam War, and going up the Mekong River to primitivism. So, Heart of Darkness, I believe, was also made into a recent movie. So I might want to look that one up. I think it was, oh hell, I got to look it up. Hold on. Okay, this is fascinating. Okay, so there's a movie called Hearts of Darkness, which is about the making of Apocalypse Now. And then there is a movie of Heart of Darkness starring John Malkovich and Tim Roth, which probably, it doesn't say, but I'm going to guess that it is about going up the river in Africa. And then, this is very strange, the new movie Ad Astra, 2019, starring Brad Pitt. Instead of going up the river, Brad Pitt goes to the edge of the solar system. So all of these movies are about great journeys. Anyway, Apocalypse Now is a fantastic movie. The first time I saw this movie, it was in one of those, what do they call that? Those IMAX movies. It wasn't an IMAX movie, but it was shown in an IMAX theater on a great big screen. And, well, the helicopter scene is unbelievable. And, you got to see this movie. Okay, the next one that we have on here is, okay, I'm going to skip that one because I want to talk to you about another movie about going in Africa up a river, and it's called The African Queen. Now, this is a must-see movie. Humphrey Bogart and this very famous female author. No, she wasn't an author. This very famous female actress, Katharine Hepburn. So Hepburn and Bogart going up the river. Beautiful movie. And anyway, that was the one I jumped over to get you to that because they're all about going upriver. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my, what number is this one? Number 9. On the Beach. On the Beach is a movie about a submarine crew after the end of the world. And why do I bring this up? Well, it's kind of like the movie The Stand, and it kind of is relevant to, our current pandemic. So, what happens to the submarine crew after the end of the world? It's, I guess, an anti-war movie. Very good. Anyway, it's one of these, must-see movies for film connoisseurs that want to really, go in the back catalog. It's not a new movie. 1960, I'm going to go with. Okay, and then the last one I want you to watch, this one actually, so it's a number 11. It's your bonus one, and it's not a movie. It's an episode of a TV show called Star Trek: The Next Generation. Now, there's been so many Star Trek movies, I had to pick through all of the Star Trek episodes and the movies in order to give you the one that you must see right now. And Okay, switching gears. This one is Star Trek The Next Generation. The episode is called Transfigurations. And, okay, so where have we heard the word transfiguration from before? We've heard it. Something to do with the life of Jesus of Nazareth. And, what does it mean? It's a metamorphosis. So if you remember the word metamorphosis, it comes from biology and usually has to do with something to do with insects. Insects that change. So caterpillars changing into butterflies, a complete change. It's the same animal, but it goes through a complete transformation. I mean, a caterpillar is nothing like a butterfly. You'd never know that those two things are the same animal that goes through an incredible change in its form. And this episode, Transfigurations, is, I don't want to spoil it for you at all, but I'm going to have to give you something so that you watch this thing. Okay, so it's a very new age theme. And I do follow a lot of new age things because they are about great leaps in consciousness. And, a great change. Well, we're going to come back to the movie number 1 that I gave you, The Celestine Prophecy. Because in The Celestine Prophecy, I told you it was about a movie between what happens to bullies, control freaks in other words, and what happens to people who let go of their ego. People who are all about a minute for myself, and people who are I'm here to help others. I'm, not. I don't want to be a slave, but I am looking out for the betterment of all of humanity. So that's a Celestine Prophecy, and this episode of Transfigurations takes place in a world similar to Earth as it is today. In other words, the biggest problem on our planet is the enormous wealth of a tiny, tiny fraction of the population and enormous numbers, hundreds of millions, if not billions of people who are dirt poor. And exactly what I was talking about with, like 1984 and Big Brother, where it's control of the population by the few. This was still going on this planet where, the Enterprise runs into this particular planet of people. And it's very new agey because what happens to someone who perhaps pursues a form of enlightenment, enlightenment like in a Buddhist sense of enlightenment. In other words, spiritual growth, enormous spiritual growth. And just like, what do they want was transfigurations. Transfigurations, I said it was caterpillar to the butterfly. And, these were humanoids in this episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation. So what's the next thing that happens to humans if they pursue spiritual enlightenment? Well, if I switch gears and I talk to you about, my topic that I always seem to come back to is Dr. David R. Hawkins of Consciousness Research. And Dr. Hawkins said that humanity is about to undergo a great change, a transfiguration. And he said, we are going to rename our species from Homo sapiens sapiens to what he called Homo spiritus. So if you watch this episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, you will see someone change from a caterpillar into a butterfly. Why is it relevant for today? Well, there's a hell of a lot of New Age people who are pursuing spiritual growth and raising the vibe and higher consciousness, who believe that we are also in line for a great transfiguration of us. So, if you watch this episode, I believe it is a preview of what is going to happen on this planet. A great move from Homo sapiens sapiens to Homo spiritus. And how is that going to play out? You're going to have to watch the movie. It wasn't the movie, but, it's a 45-minute episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. And this is a clue as to why we all should get involved with pursuing higher consciousness, because it's just an episode of Star Trek that I find exceptionally interesting. Thank you for watching, and please leave me a comment on which of these movies that you watched and what you thought of them. If you want to add other movies that I must see that are related to this list, go ahead in the comments. And if you want to give me something that's totally unrelated to this, well, go ahead. I just love comments. Thank you for watching. Please share with everyone you know to get them watching something. There's book clubs, and this is going to be the movie club. And don't forget to subscribe. For the purposes of these videos, I'm the narrator, and my name is Harry Weaver. And what's in my name? Well, I like to weave a good story, and that's why my name is Harry Weaver.